Hey everybody, it's me, Myra, at Down Home Money, a simple approach to financial freedom. It's Tuesday, it's my day, and I can't wait to share with you. I've got one of my great friends, Jennifer Vories, with us today. Say hi, Jennifer.
Hey guys, hope that you're doing well.
You're going to love this. So Jennifer has been in real estate for how long?
14 years.
Oh my goodness. Time flies.
It does.
So wow. So you kind of got in real estate at the last crash, didn't you?
I did. Yep.
Oh my goodness. So this is going to be a great video today. So Jennifer, tell them a little bit, because I wanted Jennifer to share with y'all. So Jennifer is a top producer in Northern Kentucky and Ohio, Cincinnati area. And I want her to share with you a little what's going on in real estate. A lot of y'all ask me, where's the housing market? What's going on? This is a girl that can tell you what's up. And besides that, she does flips. And I know how y'all love information on buying houses, fixing them up and rehabbing them and flipping them for a profit. So Jennifer, tell them about yourself.
Yeah, well, very nice to meet you guys for the ones that I haven't met yet. And Myra, thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, love having you.
Love you. So a little bit of just about myself. I started in real estate 14 years ago. And the market was really good the first 2 months. Matter of fact, my brokers then said anyone could sell a house. You put a sign in the yard and it was gone, kind of like now.
Fog a mirror.
Right.
If you can fog a mirror, you can sell a house,
and
right?
it's there. And I was like, okay, well, this is going to be easy. And about 2 months later, the crash happened and people were like quitting and crying. And I didn't know what to think of it. So I just kept lead generating. I was taught how to do it right when I got into real estate, and I just kept chugging along. And then I think that brokerage went from 160 agents to like 60. And so I saw a big shift in the market then.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. And we weren't
just
here
because
yet.
of people getting out of real estate.
Getting out of real
because
estate.
that's what happens when there's a shift in the market. I was the president of the board in 2009 in my area. And in 2006, when I became the secretary treasurer, a good year,
Yeah.
I became the secretary treasurer, and we had like 900 and something agents with our little county board. And do you know, by the time 2009 hit, we were down to 500.
Yeah. I mean,
so a lot of people get out because it's expensive to sell real estate if you don't sell real estate.
Absolutely. And the brokerage that I started at was the #1 brokerage here in the area before Keller Williams got here.
Before we made it.
So I was just watching all these people get out and got scared, but I just knew that I had to keep lead genning, and I did. So that led me into my very first flip property. I actually picked up a doctor off of just cold calling, and we went out and looked at some houses. And she was super sweet. She was just starting her very first year in being a doctor, which that came with a lot of debt. So she didn't have a lot of money to spend, although she knew that investing was going to be smart. Very first house we went to, I met the investor that was there. He was flipping his grandmother's house that recently passed away.
Oh, wow.
And we just hit it off. He was a great guy, but that wasn't the house for her. So we went and looked at more. We were out all day long. That's back in the market when you could actually look at a lot of houses.
There were a lot of houses on the market.
I think we looked at like 15.
Oh, wow.
15, 14, somewhere in between there, all down in
Now
Covington.
you make 15 offers.
Right.
Before
you don't get any.
house.
And you don't get any. So at the very last one, Caroline said, hey, Jen, can we circle back to that property? And I tried to get a hold of the agent. They weren't answering. I don't think we actually had showing time at that point. This company didn't, the one that I had to call into. So I said, well, let's go back and knock on the door. Maybe he'll be there. Yeah. And he was. So I was like, hey, can we just take one more look around? Well, long story short, we ended up selling that house. He ended up hiring me as his full-time agent, and he kind of taught me the ropes on real estate. So that was his flip. But then shortly after, he and I started flipping properties together. And I had no money because I was a new agent, maybe making $20,000 a year.
Money is never an excuse. I mean, you can't use that as an excuse. You hear her. She said, I had no money, but she still made it happen.
Yep.
Share that, because I think that's great.
Yeah, so what I did is I started looking for opportunities. So I would be the opportunity getter, and he would be the opportunity fixer. So I would get the opportunity, and he and his business partner would flip it, and then we would split it 50-50. So I would go get the mortgage, and they would do the legwork and order everything. So we did that probably for about 4 or 5 years. And then I went out on my own and I started doing it. And then my best friend, Brian Froge, and I opened up a business together because through that circuit, I got introduced to him.
Yeah.
And about that time, I was probably about 10 or 15 flips in. And then Brian and I actually was Brian's agent, his and Terrence.
Okay. Yeah.
And then he started flipping properties and I started selling them. And then when he retired from the police department, we opened up our own business, Moving Home LLC.
Yeah.
So he does most of the legwork. I mean, 99.9% of it in the business now. I kind of took a hiatus when Aaron had cancer. But the greatest thing about it is when I get properties from my attorneys or just friends that have them, I tee them up to Brian first, and if our LLC doesn't buy them, then I'll look at them as an investment property on my own, or then I'll go send them to my team. So we try to keep it all in-house.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, love it.
So kind of share a little bit about what kind of profit is your expectation? So when you buy a property and you know you're going to rehab, what are some of the numbers? Like if you're looking at numbers, like, I mean, I know you're not willing to do it if you're going to make $5,000 because $5,000 can end up disappearing if something goes wrong, right? In the middle of the renovation. Yeah. So what do you look at and what price points do you like? Give us some tips on how we could help us to not fail forward, because you've already done all that.
Right. Well, prior to Brian, because Brian and Taryn take care of all the money at this point, and they are the ones that make sure that all of that shakes out correctly. Yeah. But prior to them, I always need to make $25,000 or more, and I always had a cushion of $5,000 to $10,000, just in case. Like with my very first flip, we didn't know that there was black mold behind the drywall. So we had to buy 25 sheets of drywall and take it up to the 3rd level of this colonial home in Covington. Oh, wow. Which now drywall is super expensive. Then it wasn't that big of a deal, but now you're looking at like astronomical fees. Yeah. So you got to work that in. So truly, I don't know what Brian's new budget is because I'm sure he's got a cushion in there. But $25,000 definitely. Anything more. The flip that I'm doing right now on my own, I actually sent that over to our LLC. It didn't work out number-wise for whatever we had going on because Brian, we do like 2 or 3 at a time. Right. So, you don't always have money flow. So I went back and I looked at it again and I ended up buying it for my team member. Okay. We had it listed or didn't even list it. And so I decided to buy it. So that particular property, bought it for $100,000. I know, Sandy, you're going to be really mad at this. The appraisal came back at $150,000 without anything being done to it, but we're still flipping it. So we look to make over $100,000 profit on that one. That's exciting. Yeah, we should sell it for $250,000 down in Newport. Yeah. That is exciting. Yeah. And those deals, you guys, are still out there. Yeah. I think that people think that just because the market's so crazy, and yes, it is. And no, there are not a bunch of them out there. You've got to go look for them, right? But there are still good deals out there. And I find in Kentucky, there's still a lot of good deals. You got to just go find them. Yeah, your market is not as inflated as my market is in Texas. Because I've got all the California people. You're getting some. Yeah. But you're not getting half as many as we're getting. Right. They're coming this way. You'll get them. But they are paying, I mean, it's crazy some of the offers right now, over asking, and 30, 50, 100,000 over asking. I was with a friend yesterday that told me that his house went 150 over asking. Crazy. I mean, that really, he just sold. Yeah, and that's in Ohio. But I just, I think that it's important that people know that there's still money to be made. There is. Where there's a will, there's a way. Yep. So what are some more tips that you would give to help people if they're wanting to break into doing this? Sure. Well, I think the very first thing is make sure that everyone in your database knows that you can set yourself apart from all the other real estate agents. So you're not just a realtor, you can actually do more. You can let them know if they're missing payments, that you can help find someone to buy their house. Right. So they still keep all that equity and the bank doesn't take the keys. Okay, so, oh wow, that is a great point, you guys, because right now our government has been pushing the can down the road on foreclosures. There's a moratorium on foreclosures until the end of September. And if they don't push that down the road, remember, we've got a lot of people sitting in houses that haven't paid for their houses, but they don't need to get foreclosed on because they have so much. They've had at least 10 to 15% equity additional appreciation in their homes. Yep. And they need to call a realtor to get out because they probably don't have the money to catch up, and you're going to get foreclosed on. When the banks are given the ability to do it, and you've still been sitting there and you haven't been proactive and gotten out of the house, you're going to be in trouble, because when all 4 million people that are behind on their mortgages decide to put their house on the market, they've waited as long as they can, and the banks are able to foreclose, then that's going to shift our market. We get 4 more million listings on our market, then we're back to a 4-month supply. Yep. So I'm starting early. Like at my party that I told you we're having next Friday, I'm having a conversation with everyone that'll be there. 200, 300 people. Who do you know that's hurting right now? Who's missing payments? Who can I help? Who who does, because they don't want to raise their hand.
They don't.
But you have to go help them, and my database knows that I'm there to help. So if I can help somebody from going into foreclosure, and I go buy their house and give them all that equity and still give them fair market value, it's a win-win.
It's a win.
Yeah.
And that's for sure. And I don't think people really understand that. Then we've got all the investors. There's another 2 million of investors whose tenants have not been paying rent because there's a moratorium on evictions. Yeah. So they haven't been paying rent, so which causes the investor to not make payments because they can get by not making the payments until time. But then there too, when the banks call the notes, you have no time at that point. You have no time, and there's going to be more listings hitting the market, and it's about supply and demand. I would say through the rest of this year, we're going to continue to have low supply, high demand. But if we lift the moratorium in September, you better hurry up and get your house on the market, because it's slowly, and then suddenly. Don't you remember 7, 8, 9 when it was slowly in 7, and all of a sudden in 8 we had 500 foreclosures a month in my county, and the house pricing just starts going down. So you need to know that if you're sitting there and you're in trouble, shoot, call Jennifer. She'll fix you up and help you, whether you're in Northern Kentucky, Cincinnati area or not. She knows realtors all over. She can help get you taken care of. Isn't that right, Jennifer?
Absolutely.
Give your email address.
Jennifer Vories team @gmail.com. I don't know where to look at on this thing.
Yeah, you're perfect. Girl, I love it. You just look straight ahead.
I was like, what do I look at?
You know what? You look wherever you want because they can see you.
I love it.
I love it.
So Jennifer Vories team @gmail. Jennifer, the thing, JENNIFER, Vories, VORIES team, TEAM @gmail.
I love that.
Yeah.
Reach out to Jennifer if you need help, or it doesn't matter where you are in the country. She knows people. Jennifer is really well known and knows a lot of people that can help you get your house on the market and start taking care of that, because don't walk away and lose that equity, you guys. It's not worth it. We're in a different situation than we were in back 7, 8, 9, right? We didn't have the appreciation that we've had this last year.
Well, the banks aren't telling you how much money you have in your home. So that's why you need a great real estate agent that can do a comparable market analysis for you. And if you owe 100, but the market is saying that you can get 220, work with an agent to get the rest of that money that is your money out. And then you can work out all the fine details as long as you have someone in your corner.
You're absolutely right. That's why it's so important to have a professional, and that's why you want a realtor.
That's absolutely. Absolutely. So one more nugget.
Please give a bunch of nuggets, girl. We got time.
The one that I love is obviously networking, and we're here in this business to prospect. And if you're not prospecting, then you're not a real estate agent, as far as I'm concerned. So I started years ago prospecting with any attorney that I could possibly get to know. I think I have 6 probate attorneys that will call me if anything's going on the market.
That's awesome.
So this very last one, I went and looked at it, and I knew immediately that it was going to be a house that we were going to flip, either myself or Brian or team together. So I looked at it, and unfortunately, probate means that someone passed away. Right. And there is some fine lines that you have to be very careful with. But the family wanted to hire me. Because of my reputation and her giving me the referral. I went in, I said, well, let me do the fair market analysis for you. And I did, and this is what we could sell it for. Or you can put it up on the market at this number, or I can buy it from you. So Brian went and took a look at it. We bought it for, I think, $130,000. And the greatest thing about my team is we take everything. You can just leave it all and we'll take it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, so the house was full to the brim of you just name it, everything.
And I've bought a house like that before.
But it relieves the family,
it does.
right?
Because makes life easier.
They're not from here. They can't get rid of everything. So we take that heavy lifting off. And it's actually easy. When you're in this business, we know everybody.
Yeah.
So we got the house cleaned out. Brian and the team's flipping it right now. I think we're probably going to end up listing it for $225,000. Yeah. We'll probably put maybe about 20 into it. So another win, another win for our LLC.
Tell them, what are some of the important, if you're going to remodel your house, that's a great point. And like you rehabbers, y'all know there's certain rooms you don't work on, you don't spend a lot of money on because you don't make a lot of money. That doesn't increase the value. Tell some of the things that you do that increases the value.
Right. Well, I can tell you the first thing that Brian and I look at is the foundation. If the foundation's jacked, we're going to try to stay away from it. Although, if it's salvageable, it might be a win for us because we, again, know everybody that can do that work. Right. Kitchens and baths, obviously, you all have heard it. You know that that's the most important. those are going to be the things that we concentrate the most on. And then if we can resave the floors, if they're hardwood, we want to keep the value of the house the way that it was before, which is great because Brian, me, and Taryn, we work great together, and that's how we think. And then you have to look at the big kickers. When we walk through a property, we want to know roof, HVAC. Those are the big ones in the windows. Have they been fixed, or do we need to put new windows in? And then when you start...
What about basements here? Because y'all have basements. We don't have basements in Texas.
A lot of them are flooded right now. Because we had 2 days of rain. Basements obviously are very important. We will leave them like the way that they are. Maybe do like a gray paint on the floor and like a gray or a white on the wall, because no one wants to go down to a dingy basement. So pretty much for every single flip we do, we will clean it up just with that, just to make it pop when you go down there. But we keep it simple. And I know for the last 10 years, it's repetition. The same thing over and over again. Just make it easy, make it duplicatable. So every single time we get a home, we don't have to be like, oh, what are we doing here? Are we doing carpet? Are we doing tile? No, we just do the same thing over and over again. I love that. Over and over again.
Consistency makes it easy.
And you make good relationships that way. You know, Brian's got our granite guy that he gets a granite from every time. He knows where we get our stainless steel packages at. We know what colors we use on the walls.
It's just simple. So simple.
Yeah.
And, you know, we do that with our rentals. So Rick knows when somebody moves out, he's used the same paint color on every one of our rentals. He can go in and touch up instead of doing full paint jobs.
Or still looking for the paint that you put on that wall.
You and we have a carpet guy that comes in. He knows what color. He doesn't even have to call us. We just go, hey, go do the carpet. You know,
just happened today. Getting ready to do another one, and called Troy Coop and said, you know what I want? Go put it in that place.
See, that is what it's about, because you build those relationships, and it makes all of this so much more simple.
Absolutely.
So anything else you want to tell them in parting ways as we're leaving out here?
I would just say that if you're really thinking about doing flips or doing any kind of investment, keep it simple. Make as many relationships as you possibly can. Let them know that you are not just a real estate agent that sells houses, that you're there to help people fix their problems. Because people don't know that we can do that unless you tell them.
That's a great point. And if you're not a real estate agent and you're looking to get in real estate, you know you need to get a hold of us at downhomemoney@gmail.com. We'll take care of you on that. You guys, thank you so much. We'll see you next Tuesday. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, because Jennifer gave you some great tips. She deserves a thumbs up. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed for more great videos, because remember, it's not how much money you make. It's how much money you keep and what you do with it and buy assets, right?
That's right.
I love it. We'll see you later.
See you guys.